Okay, folks, Mike's Instant Movie Review, The Bikeriders. This was a Monday night mystery movie. You pay your $5. You see the movie that you don't know what you're going to see until it starts playing. They had a little still shot, telling you that it was going to be The Bikeriders. I've seen this preview a few times. This is the story of the Vandals. I think we're looking at the 1960s, early 60s, maybe mid to late 50s, Chicago. I guess the Vandals were the first major American USA bike club, motorcycle club. Some might call it a gang, some might not. Johnny is our proprietor of this organization, played by Tom Hardy, whose name I was pretty much collecting. A lot of actors in this movie you've seen a bunch of times, but there's no Tom Cruise or Samuel L. Jackson in this. Austin Butler, who played Elvis, is the pretty boy Floyd of this group. Our narrator is a lovely actress. She kind of has a look of a 1960s female American. Not too thin, not too obese, nicely shaped actress, whatever her name is, Judy or some such thing. One of these names. Did I like the movie? Did I not? Yeah, the movie's good. I liked it. I mean, I think it's worth watching. It's definitely worth seeing. Is it like an all-time, oh my god, holy shit classic? I don't think so. But I think it's definitely entertaining. It's informative of this lifestyle, days gone by. Certainly not a multicultural cast. I mean, this is mostly white Midwesterners who are in a gang. They show these different, festivals or whatever they call them, picnics of the gang, and there's like one black female biker in like half a second shot. And there's one lady that doesn't even have any lines playing a maid. So you're not going to find your cultural diversity in this one, but that's of the times. It's the Midwest. It's this, gang, for Christ's sakes. I think there's some of this movie kind of plays into themes. These bikers in this movie, it's kind of interesting. They're all, live free or die, independent. I'm a loner. I'm a fucking stone cold Steve Austin of the universe. But yet, we're nonconformists, yet here's our club. And we all have rules to follow. So, they point that out. I don't know if the less attuned viewer will catch that out. Kind of the hypocrisy of the whole motorcycle club ideology, if that's the word, is... we're so fuck the man, we're so independent thinking, but yet we need to be in a club where we all wear the same goddamn vest, okay? Like a bunch of fucking schoolboys. So they do point out that hypocrisy, no offense, if there's any vandals left standing. I don't know if this, I don't know. I guess you can make a point, if you wanted to, that these motorcycle clubs were kind of the predecessors for the explosion of the 1980s, Bloods and Crips and all these other things. People finding their validation, their safety in numbers. Look at me, I'm wearing this vest. Look at me, I'm wearing a fucking red bandana or a blue bandana. Look at me, I've got family, yo. Whatever the fuck. So, I don't know. But here I am just going on a rant. But yeah, you're watching this movie and, what was it, 10, 15 years ago, everyone got their fucking dicks in a fury over whatever the fuck, Lords of Anarchy or Kings of Anarchy or whatever the fuck. I didn't give a shit. I never watched. I was familiar that it existed, but I don't know. I just think it's one of these things where people live vicariously through these elements of society. Oh, a motorcycle squad. Oh, I could be in that. No, you couldn't, assholes. So, whatever the fuck. I thought the movie was good. as you can see, it just kind of raises some issues of these groups. But anyway, I'm trying to think of, should you see the movie? Yeah, go see it when it comes out. Other things that I can pinpoint. It's like a lot of these things, like, what's going to happen. There's going to be all these goddamn themes, loyalty and wearing your colors and wearing your vest and who's going to beat up who and who's a whatever the fuck, who's a squealer, who's a rat. I did find it interesting that the Wild Ones, the Marlon Brando film, that the guy in this movie, Johnny, is kind of idolizing. And in the movie, I guess, Marlon Brando's character was named Johnny, and so Johnny, I guess that was his real name, or whatever the fuck. Nice coincidence. So yeah, I like the movie. Here's one thing I didn't like. You ready? And I mean, this is like a real core foundation of this cinematic performance, was the storytelling. There's this thing in screenwriting or in filmmaking that they say, if you have to have a voiceover, it's a big crutch for a film. Like if you have to have a voiceover in your movie where the lead character basically tells you what the fuck is going to happen, then you failed as a screenwriter or as a filmmaker. And in this movie, they don't necessarily have a voiceover, but it's a series of cutaways a la Princess Bride to the female, the wife of Benny, telling the story to this photographer who apparently wrote this book, wrote the book and had all these photos of the vandals and all their happenings in this era. So basically, we're watching, the movie version of how the book was put together through these exclusive interviews. And I guess the second interview was 1973, and maybe the first one was it 1967, some such thing. So I don't want to say, you know what I mean? It's kind of like just a way of telling the story that we've seen a million times. Like, oh, here's the interviewer of the book, and here's the fucking events that have happened. For instance, spoiler, there's this scene where there's pretty important secondary character, Brucey. I don't recall the actor's name. I've seen him before. He did a good job. But Brucey basically, the female storyteller says, oh, and that things were never the same after Brucey died. And then they basically just show Brucey dying. But if you had made this movie in a different way, you would have just seen Brucey dying without the fucking, giving away the punchline there. You know what I mean? And I just find it to be kind of cheap and kind of convenient. Like, oh, how are we going to tell this movie? How are we going to tell this story? Well, the wife gave this interviewer guy, this photographer guy, all these anecdotes in a couple of interviews. So let's just recreate the interviews of her doing that. Lazy. Hate to say it. It's just lazy. I mean, yes, you could say, okay, that's historically accurate. But that's kind of why I liked the Elvis movie from 3 or 4 years ago, and other people did not like it as much as I did. But I liked the fact that it was taking some chances with the biopic, the Elvis movie I'm talking about, with Austin Butler, like the high-frequency, rapid editing. We've heard enough of the goddamn Elvis story a million fucking times. So taking some chances with the editing, with the storytelling. Yes, I know that Tom Hanks was kind of a faux pas with the fucking Colonel character, Tom Parker, or whatever the fuck. But I guess with a story like this, it kind of felt like La Bamba from 1987. Like, oh, here's the story, and here's what happened, and you know what I mean? I just felt like on the nose, okay? If you know what that means. On the nose means, I went to the supermarket and I bought milk. No subtext, no interesting slant on the procedure, just telling us what happened. And that's what kind of this movie felt like to me. Like, okay, good acting, good cinematography, everything's there. It's just, and it's good, it's entertaining, it's informative, and there's nothing wrong with it. But is it, at this point, seeing so many movies like I do, being such an educated film viewer as I am, and a filmmaker myself, that you can see my wonderful films on One Man and a Camera Films, I need something more, folks. I need something more than just a good old standard movie to get me excited. And I kind of feel like, yes, this was a good movie, but is it a classic? Is it something that takes some chances? Is it something that took some risks with its filmmaking stylings? Abso-fucking-lutely not. It was standard issue. It was, okay, this is fine, but it wasn't anything to sing a song about. It wasn't anything that rocked my goddamn world, okay? I'm just being honest. I'm just telling you the facts of the matter, kids. It was good. It was fine. I mean, but is it something that's going to, I'm going to go out and people are going to get fucking the Vandals tattoos on their ass or the Bikeriders poster on their fucking wall? I don't think so. I think it's just a movie that was good, and it was competent, and it served the story, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I feel like with this exciting material that they could have done something, I don't know what they could have done, but something a little bit more, okay? I just feel that way. I feel like there's enough interesting stories that we see in this movie that if some bigger thing could have happened, or some chances with the actual process, the narrative, I think they could have done something really special here. But in a sense, unlike kind of the same quandary that the actual people are in, you're supposed to be a rule breaker, but you're following the goddamn rules. We have to be true to this story. And the woman told the photographer all these anecdotes, so now we're just going to film scenes of the woman telling the photographer these anecdotes. Okay. You know what I mean? It's just, for this live free or die mentality, I'm not seeing a live free or die filmmaking experience. I'm seeing a very traditional cookie cutter experience. Similarly, I felt that way about Aretha Franklin movie 3 or 4 years ago. I did a nice review on that. Respect. I thought the movie, that's the title of the film, the Aretha Franklin biopic, it was fine. The performance by Jessica Hudson, I believe that's her name, Jennifer Hudson, not Jessica, for Christ's sakes. I thought Jennifer Hudson was going to win an Oscar, or at least get nominated for her portrayal of Aretha Franklin. She did not get such a nomination. I was a little stunned and shocked. But I felt like that movie was kind of cookie cutter. The movie itself was just, here's all the events that happened that we're going to put in the movie, and we're going to film the scenes, and we're going to edit them, and put a nice music behind it, and there's your movie. I feel like the movies that stand out from the pack, whether you want to go way back in time and say, Pulp Fiction, 1994, or, whatever the fuck, say Citizen Kane 75 years ago, whatever that was. I think the movies that really stick out as legendary, iconic movies take some chances with the narrative. You know what I mean? And as we see more and more films every year, the audience, we get a little bit bored. And even something like this, where I never sat there and once watched Sons of Anarchy, or whatever the fuck, I guess that's what it was called. I never sat there and watched it like an asshole. But, it's kind of yeah, we get it. Well, bike gang, okay? Live free or fucking die. Wear a vest. Wear a jean jacket. I always wonder, here's one thing I wonder about these gang people or these club people. Where do they get their fucking money? You know what I mean? Are they all mechanics? Are they all part-time mechanics? How many part-time mechanics do you need? You know what I mean? In the world. Because only Johnny, it's explained, is a truck driver, so he actually has a day job and he has a wife and kids. But where's everybody else? How are they getting their money to support this they're buying a bologna sandwich or buying a malt soda or a soda pop or a Dr. Pepper or their engine parts or whatever the fuck. How do these bikers live? They don't really show any of these bikers actually working, you know what I mean? Or they're not stealing from anybody, but they always have $1 in their pocket to buy a beer. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I guess I'd like some particulars here, people. But, you know, like I said, I have no ill will towards the biker community. I give them credit. You know, live free or die, all that happy horse shit. And pay your dues. Yeah, how do they pay their fucking dues to be in the bike club? Where do they get this extra spending cash, for Christ's sakes? But anyway, I liked the movie. I thought it was good. I mean, you know, it was... I came, I saw the movie, and I left. But is my life changed? Am I suddenly a better person? Have I learned some great thing? One thing I did like about the movie, and of course, you know, our Kathy is the name of the character. I mean, she's... One thing you can say is it does give you some thoughts into the female mind of this time. Like, you know, she wants to be the good girl, but she wants to, she being Kathy, the wife of Benny, she wants to take the guy who doesn't give a shit about anything and break his spirit, make him a fucking house husband. And spoiler, eventually she does, because they ride off to Florida, which was funny because here I am in Florida watching the film, and basically she's got her wish. She's tamed the shrew. She's tamed the wild stallion and made him a gelding, and, you know, now he doesn't ride his bike anymore. Now he sits in the fucking driveway with some cousin or whatever the fuck, smoking a cigarette, looking pretty. So she gets her wish. She's castrated her wild man into a house husband. So I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. The movie was good. I don't know if I'm dramatically changed. I mean, it's one of those deals. All the actors were good. I mean, Tom Hardy definitely has a cool look. I haven't watched the movie. Was he the guy that played Bane in those? I didn't like that Dark Knight Returns or whatever the fuck, or the Dark Knight Rises. Was he Bane in that? Because I thought that one was a horse shit of a Batman film. But I did like him. I believe he was in the movie Warrior with Kurt Angle, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, two brothers fighting each other movie. I like that one. You know, so I mean, there you go, flying folks. I mean, this movie's worth seeing. Is it going to change your life? No. Is it going to change your thinking? Whatever you think about clubs and gangs and horse shit, you'll probably just get confirmation bias. You'll probably feel the same way about these things coming out as you did going in. I mean, I'll say this about the history, and I will look into the Vandals, see if they're still together, but if this movie is accurate, and spoiler, Johnny was just killed by this guy who shot him, and that was the end of, like, the original golden era of the bikers. Why didn't any of Johnny's supposed brothers, you know, his family, why didn't they ever stick up for him? Why didn't they say, hey, asshole, you shot our leader, now we're going to get a hold of you? Instead, they all fell in fucking line. And I guess Johnny himself kind of foreshadows that moments before his death when he says, you ever give everything of yourself to something and it's just going to do what it's going to do? So yeah, he saw it coming. You know what I mean? It's like wise guys. You know, your best friend will be the one to shoot you in the back of the head. So anyway, folks, that's it. That's Mike's Instant Movie Review. When this movie comes out, sure, go see it. It's not going to change your life, but go see it. It's something to do. 2 hours and 2 minutes. If you want to see my wonderful films, Blood Sugar Sedace, Disregard the Vampire, Mike Messier documentary, The Impeccable, The Nature of the Flame. Been getting a lot of hits on Thanksgiving, a short film, and the Messier Peace Theater, my 6-part series. You have to go over to another YouTube channel, One Man and a Camera Films. The number one Man and a Camera Films. This is one Mike Messier. MikeMessier.com has all my novels, books, and so forth. One artist, Mike Messier, and one pro wrestling and sports fan YouTube channel. That's it. See the movie.